Now, in the tiny village of Cheshire, right at the southern end of Cheshire, almost going over the border into Shropshire, there were just half a dozen houses, a large farmhouse, a church in the middle of the fields, and a pub called the Bluebell Inn. And the landlord of the Bluebell Inn, well, he got to thinking, how am I ever going to keep this place going? So few customers from just the houses around here. I need to find some way of getting more custom for my pub. And he thought about how he might do this. Well, he could get some players, some travelling performers, but then they would cost money. For this was back in the days before you could trick them with the thought of exposure. No, he didn't have the money to pay any players, any musicians or any actors. And what about Skittle Alley? But there wasn't really the room in the pub, in that Bluebell Inn, to put a Skittle Alley inside, and you certainly couldn't trust the weather to put it outside. And he thought some more, and then he had an idea. What about getting a sort of pet for the pub? Some kind of cute little animal. Not a puppy or a kitten, that's far too obvious. And not a lamb, because they're all farmers around here, they've got fields full of sheep. And he thought about this, and he preferred to get something that wasn't going to cost him any money. And then he had it to get a cute little duckling. And if he went down to the pond, he could just get one for free. And that's exactly what he did. And he got the duckling and he set it upon the bar, and there it would run up and down. Well, he had these two customers, the regulars that would come in every night, and they'd be there drinking a beer, smoking on their clay pipes, and here the duckling would run up and down. It didn't really work, didn't bring that many more people in. And the thing is, as the duck grew bigger, it began to peck at the customers, the drinkers who were there. And well, they got tired of having their ankles bitten by this duck. And so they left. And that hadn't worked. The landlord lost his only customers. And so there was only one thing for it. He had to get rid of the duck. Now, he grabbed it, he throttled it, and because it had been his pet, he couldn't bring himself to eat it. But he buried it underneath the bottom step of the stairs going down to the cellar. And that being done, well, he thought, no more problems from the duck. And the customers, indeed, they came back and they continued drinking their ale, smoking on their clay pipes. But what should appear but the ghost of the duck? And the ghost duck, it came to haunt that pub. The Bluebell Inn customers there, the drinkers, well, not only did they now get their ankles pecked, but they were terrified by the quacking of the phantom duck. Now this time, when the landlord went to throttle it, his hands went straight through, with it being a ghost, you see. And he didn't know what he could do there. The ghost would just sit on the bar. And he thought about it. Then he remembered he had this friend called Parson. The parson, he was a travelling preacher. Whether he was officially a priest or not, nobody really knew, but he said he was. And he had a word with the parson. And the parson said, well, I'll come along this evening and I'll bring 11 of my friends and we'll do a praying down ceremony. And we shall rid you of the phantom duck, just for the fee of a few pints of ale each. And so that evening it was done. The ring of parsons, 12 of them, surrounded and made as much of a circle as he could do in that cramped space in the Bluebell Inn. And in the centre was the ghost duck, and they began to pray. And what words they said, I have no idea, but it was something secret and something magical beyond just the book of scriptures. And with that, the duck, it got smaller and smaller and smaller until it was a tiny, tiny ghost duck. And with that, the parson, he poked it into a bottle, trapping the tiny ghost duck. Now, you might have heard that ghosts can walk through walls, and that might be true, but they can't get through a glass bottle. And he slammed in a cork, trapping the tiny ghost duck. Now, the landlord of the pub, he buried that bottle underneath the bottom step of the stairs going down into the cellar. And when the news got round that the ghost duck had been got rid of, then his regulars, they came back to the pub. And not just them, but people from miles around came to see the place that had been haunted by the ghost duck. And so that landlord, he had his pub full of customers in the end, just as he'd wished. And that would be the end of the story, except to say about 35 years ago, there was work going on in the cellar of that pub. They were laying new pipes down there. And the workmen, they had reason to take up the bottom step of the stairs going down into that cellar. And there they found a glass bottle with a cork firmly wedged in. But they knew the story of the ghost duck, and so they left it there just to be safe.